So how are you?
I'm good. I'm looking up improv games for us to play
Oh, that's fun.
so that we can get into it. Here's a website called Fun Attic.
Okay.
What would you do in a fun attic, Joe?
Oh man. Hey mom, I'm gonna look at the upstairs for my old baseball cards. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all the cards. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Wait, I think I found a lamp. Hold on. Rub, 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 rub.
Just keep going. Keep going.
Rub, 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 rub. Rub, 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 rub.
Whoosh.
What?
I'm the genie.
What are you doing in my mom's attic?
Well, I was in the lamp. Lamp, what were you rubbing? What were you rubbing? You were doing a lot of rubbing.
Oh, Genie, you don't want to know what I was rubbing. Yeah, I was definitely rubbing a lamp.
Well, I've been in it for 10,000 years.
Huh, this house was built in the 80s.
10,000 minutes. Time's hard when you're a genie.
So, Genie, what can you do?
I can grant you 3 wishes.
All
but
right.
There's a catch.
What's the catch? What's the catch?
They can only be about pants. I'm the genie.
Okay.
Like jeans?
Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. My first wish is I wish that every time my best buddy Seth reaches into his pocket, he'll pull out some grape jelly.
Some grape jelly?
Yes.
Well, I can't do that.
Jelly.
It has to be pants. I can make pants appear and disappear.
So you can just make pants.
I could probably make pants jelly. But I hear you make a lot of that in your free time.
Are you a pants professional?
I'm maybe the most professional at pants.
Okay, so you can answer this. How do dogs wear pants? Hind legs or all 4 legs?
Strangely enough, dogs wear shorts. Couldn't tell you about pants. Are we ready to make a podcast now?
I don't know. I think I need an adult. Welcome to the Lonely Fanboys, the podcast where we catch you up on what we care about. I'm Joe.
I'm Seth. How's it going this week, Joe?
Oh, well, my governor, Tony Evers, just announced this morning that we are on almost a full lockdown. I may still have a job. I don't know. How are you doing, Seth?
I'm in a similar boat, Joe. Our governor, oh boy, I don't remember his name. The governor of Minnesota. One of his staffers tested positive for COVID-19, so our governor is in self-quarantine this week, which is really exciting. Minnesota's been about 48 hours behind Wisconsin on most of this stuff, so I imagine by about Wednesday, I'll be in a similar boat.
Oh, good. Anything else new?
Oh, just, it's a weird world when I'm waiting for Donald Trump to give me $1,000 check.
That would be great.
Consumes a lot of my existence right now.
That's very true.
The world is a nightmare.
Well, in this time of self-isolation and actively not working, what have you been up to? What are your recent obsessions, Seth?
Well, I've been watching some things.
Uh-huh.
There's this one thing in particular I've been watching is.
Well, let me ask. What are you watching?
Thank you. I've been watching Griffin McElroy of the McElroy Brothers. He's been playing this game called Animal Crossing. I don't know if you've heard of it, Joe.
I sense a reoccurring theme about to start transpiring in this podcast.
Really? I didn't think you'd like it at all. Well, I could not say that with a straight face.
So tell me about this video.
So Griffin has been streaming his Animal Crossing New Horizons adventures. He started on Twitch with like a 2.5-hour stream, and then he moved it to YouTube with like a 3.5-hour stream, and I have watched the entirety of his Animal Crossing New Horizons journey, which tells you how much time I have on my hands and the way I'm choosing to spend it. But it's been kind of delightful to just like fall asleep to at night. I haven't like sat there and watched it all in one sitting. I just like sort of listen to it or watch it as I fall asleep, and it's just so pleasant. We'll talk more about that later. What have you been watching, Joe?
Well, last week I let you know that Anna, my wife, and I have been binging all of the Marvel movies. And we got through a bunch of them, and we just last night finished Thor 2, The Dark World. And that's a film that I'd pooped on for a long time. I'd only like tuned into it in bits and pieces when it was on TV, and it just didn't seem like my cup of tea. Well, I finally watched it all the way through, and I gotta say, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Oh no.
I 2/3 of it was maybe becoming a new favorite of mine. It was seriously so cool. The dark elves with like their sci-fi guns and like this huge lore that they were building, super cool.
I feel like Thor is like so slept on as an Avenger. Like like him and Ant-Man both. I thoroughly enjoy both of those franchises, but I feel like they just get so overshadowed by the rest of the...
I've always really loved Ant-Man, especially in the what was that series? The Ultimate Avengers movies. Did you ever see those?
No.
Oh, okay. They really introduced Ant-Man to me, and they did a really good job creating that character, or telling that story of that character.
I truly think if, like, Deadpool had not come out at the same time Ant-Man did, everybody would be going crazy for Ant-Man.
Oh, I think that's very true. But yeah, Thor 2, just a fantastic, almost most of movie. It was just the third act that did it for me, because... spoilers, I guess, but Thor and Loki and Jane go fight the Dark Elves on this like distant planet looking thing, and they start to fight them, and I'm like, oh, this is the big thrilling climax. I mean, again, spoilers. The
movie's been out for like 6 years.
Loki seems to die, or you think Loki's dead. That seemed like a big, like, third act thing. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, like, the big fight now. And then they leave, and then the third act's in London.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so is something bigger going to happen? And then, like, Thor shows up and just kind of hits him with his hammer again. You're like, okay, that was fine. But the first 2/3 was really fun. Lots of great costumes, lots of great storytelling. It was super fun.
And I would like to point out that we don't get Thor Ragnarok without Thor 2, The Dark World.
Absolutely. And Thor Ragnarok is one of my top Marvel
Brilliant
movies.
film.
So good. So, what are you reading, Seth?
Okay, so I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter this week. You know, I just sit on my phone a lot with nothing to do. But one of the things that's gone viral on Twitter this week is this super cute romance thread from the like romantic relationships help part of Reddit. It's basically this gay man. His family's super homophobic, and they are in a culture where there's like arranged marriages. He didn't say where he's from, but there's a thing about arranged marriages. And so they arrange a marriage with him to this trans man whose family is super transphobic and is still like thinks he's a woman or whatever. And so these families get together and do this arranged marriage. And so then these two like queer people like are like married, but are just like, we'll just be friends, like whatever, and we'll like ignore our families. And then like the way these like family dynamics work, like now that they're married, the families have no say over their lives. So this trans man is able to like start living his true life as like a man, and like is able to come out, and like, you know, the families can't say anything because he, you know, has a husband, and it's like, you know, once that happens, you're not under your family's control anymore. But the gay man starts to fall in love with the trans man.
Oh no!
As they're like fake married.
Of course.
And so he goes on this relationships thread and is like, help, I'm falling in love with my husband. What do I do?
Wow.
We've been doing this for like years. How do I tell him that I like actually have feelings for him? And so it was this huge long post, and everybody's like loving it, and is like, you should talk to him, you know, like you guys should talk about this. And this guy's like so shy and like has like a lot of like internalized homophobia, and it like, you know, is like so worried and nervous about it. But we got an update this morning, which was that they finally like talked about it, and it turned out that trans man had been falling for the gay man the whole time, and had been like just like toying with him, and he was like, I've been waiting for you to say something. I've been in love with you for like 9 months. And so now they're like actual real husbands. And they like live together, and they're all in love, and it's so yeah.
And is this a true story as far as you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, it's anonymous people on Reddit, so like maybe somebody. This would be a crazy narrative for somebody to like be like, I'm gonna fool a bunch of internet people with though. Yeah, it made me cry like tears of joy this morning as I was reading it. It made me so happy. We should like link it in the description or something.
Yes, absolutely.
So people can check it out.
I did not do that on the first video, but I definitely want to try linking all of the things that we talk about in the description.
Cool. Okay, so that'll be linked in the description.
Yes, absolutely.
What have you been reading, Joe?
So because of this whole self-quarantine thing, Anne and I were slowly just kind of becoming couch potatoes. We were just sitting on the couch, watching things, playing video games, and not really doing anything good for us. Last night we put together a little daily schedule that we're going to try to keep, where we've blocked off different parts of the day to doing different activities. And so we decided that 1:30 to 2:30 is tech turn-off time.
Nice.
And that, consists of us putting our phones away, turning off all screens, all that stuff, and just reading, painting, doing something crafty, either together or separate. And so we both chose today to read some stuff.
Nice.
And it's super helpful, and definitely something I should probably start implementing after this is all over.
Yeah, there are a lot of things about this quarantine that I'm like, I want to keep doing that after the quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. Today I started reading a comic that I've owned for a long time, but just haven't picked up. I know that it's famous, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. And it's Batman: The Court of Owls.
Okay.
So it's a book by Scott Snyder, and the artwork is by Greg Capullo, who I really love his artwork. And it's essentially about Batman starting to discover that the rich people, the rich citizens of Gotham are just as corrupt and villainous as the supervillains like Joker. I guess spoilers, but he comes to discover that they have put together this secret organization that goes out and actively attacks. Like they'll hire an assassin to go take out someone who's trying to direct the city in a way that they don't like. So the comic starts off with Bruce Wayne making this huge declaration that he's going to invest billions of dollars into the city for this huge remodel, and he's asking all of these rich people to invest with him to build huge skyscrapers in these low developed communities, and they don't like it. So I read the first 3 chapters of it now, and the artwork is fantastic. The storytelling is really great. It reminds me, the writing actually reminds me a lot of The Dark Knight Returns, which is one of the most famous Batman comics of all time. And it's really well written. The characters are really interesting. And this is just an interesting ththing for me. I haven't read a full trade paperback where all 4 of the Robins are involved in the story. Because this takes place after Dick Grayson has become Nightwing, Tim Drake has become Red Robin, and Damian Wayne is... Oops, Jason Todd isn't in the story. Okay, the 3 Robins. Oops, I am a fan, I promise. But yeah, so it includes Dick, Tim Drake, and Damian, which is really cool.
That's all great, and hearing you talk about that and me understanding the percentage of that I understood makes me feel like we should cover that on a future episode.
Absolutely.
Just like Batman lore in general. That would be
Definitely
great.
Batman lore. I will probably do a whole discussion on just the Robins because it's super interesting how much they've done with the characters. Characters.
Cool. I'm gonna skip ahead a question if that's okay with you. I want to know what you're wearing real quick.
What am I wearing? I am wearing a different hoodie today.
Okay,
I'm
good.
Wearing a different hoodie. Don't worry. I washed the hoodie right after the episode because my wife Anna was really grossed out by that part of the segment. So it has been washed, and I am wearing a different hoodie now.
Good. Okay.
So I am now currently wearing my Hamilton hoodie.
Nice.
Yeah.
It looks very clean.
Thank you. There it is, Hamilton. Yeah.
Nice. An American musical.
American musical. Big fan. I'm sure we can do an episode at some point on
musicals we should.
Because we are both huge fans of musicals.
Yes.
Seth.
Yes.
What are you wearing?
Stop. I hate that you ask it like that. I've got this nice little pink t-shirt. It's got pineapples on it in gray. They're like a nice little pattern thing.
Very cute.
It's from Express at the Mall of America.
Nice.
My dad got it for me. Fun story about this shirt. The first night that I wore it, we went to a steakhouse and I dropped steak on it. And the pants that I was wearing that night still have a grease stain on them from that night. Yeah, I did a bad
job. Got
job.
the stain out of the shirt, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a high quality shirt.
Oh.
And then on my legs, I'm wearing sweatpants because it's, lazy day.
Very nice. Wearing the classic jeans on my end. Yes.
Nice. You should talk to the genie.
I'm. Go away.
My good friend, the genie.
Go away. So which question do you want to ask next?
Well, I've been listening to some stuff that I'd love to tell you about.
Seth, what have you been listening to?
I've been listening to my favorite song right now, which is Tokyo Drifting by Glass Animals featuring Denzel Curry. Ooh. I actually have my Google Home set up to play it for me every morning because I love it. It's just it's got such a good beat, and it just gets me going in the morning, gets me out of bed, gets me ready for the day. It's to the point now where I've been doing this for 3 weeks where I feel like my day can't start, something feels wrong if I haven't heard this song in the morning.
Wow.
That we should link that in the description too.
Absolutely. I'm not familiar with the song. I'll have to listen to it.
Okay, you'll check it out.
Yes, absolutely.
What have you been listening to, Joe? 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 What have you been listening to?
The original works of...
Ooh, original works? This must be a great artist.
Yeah, the original works of KK Slider.
KK Slider? Well,
yeah.
who's that? Wait a second. I feel like I've heard that name somewhere before.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, he's a real indie creator.
Huh. Well, we'll just leave that question there.
He's a dog.
He's a what?
He's a dog.
You're listening to a dog?
Yeah, just a dog. He kind of talks like.
It's a talking dog?
Kinda. He talks in speech bubbles, I guess, and sings in speech bubbles.
What are you talking about, Joe? Skip this question. What have you been playing?
I have been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. So much like our beloved friend and close colleague Griffin McElroy,
fellow podcaster
Griffin McElroy, I too purchased Animal Crossing New Horizons on day one. I actually pre-ordered it and downloaded it the night before, so I actually got like a few hours before some other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't stopped playing it, and it's not good. It's good, but it's not good.
So that's all you've been listening to.
It's all I've been listening to. Pretty much all I've been consuming. I say I watched Thor last night, but I had Thor in the background while I fished.
So maybe your problem with Act 3 was just that something very interesting was happening in your game and you missed the connecting pieces.
Yeah,
and then they were just in London all of a sudden.
I didn't really get why Thor went fishing and caught an oarfish. I mean, that was a little That was a weird part. It kind of came out of nowhere, and then I just didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I remember that either.
Yeah, no, go
No,
for it.
tell me all about Animal Crossing New Horizons. We've got. I'll just start the timer. We
Okay,
can just.
so this is my big topic today. So I'll keep it short. But
Okay.
So I grew up on Animal Crossing. I had it on the GameCube. I had it on the Wii. I had it on my 3DS. I have always played it. I was only really obsessed with the very first game on the GameCube. I played that game religiously, and I've got a pretty good story about that I'll share. I'm planning on doing an episode on this. I just don't have a big topic, so I'll save that story for another day. Viewers, keep listening. Listeners, keep listening. Podcast listeners.
But we put our faces on YouTube. It's okay.
That's true. But this one, I mean, I know a lot of people are saying this, but it's really doing things that the game hasn't done before. So the two biggest things are they added a crafting element. So before you would go to the shop to purchase a table, or you'd get enough points with Tom Nook, and then he'd give you a shovel, and you'd earn the shovel. You never were able to build it, and that's huge. I know it doesn't sound that exciting, and it sounds like I'm just saying it's Minecraft but Animal Crossing. It's not. I promise you. Because you. Sorry, I'm getting really excited about this.
No, it's great.
Yeah, like today, I just learned how to make a wood block table, and I have never been so excited about being able to make a table in my life. Because so you start decorating your house. There's so many elements to this game, but one of them is house decoration, and you actually receive a point total every morning from the Happy Home community.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Based on how well you decorated your house. And before in the game, you would just have to go into Tom Nook's store and see what he had available and hope that you could buy something that would match your decor and bring up your points. Now, you can find the DIY recipes and build things. And so I can make multiple dressers and put the fish I've collected on top of them. And it's so exciting.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yes. The other big thing... Sorry, I'm talking too much about this. Last thing, I promise. The other big thing are these Nook Miles. So before in the game, you were just doing stuff for the sake of doing it. You'd go into the game and you'd say, okay, today I guess I'm just gonna fish. And you're still doing that in this new game, but there's this element called Nook Miles, and basically you receive a separate point total just for doing random activities throughout your day. And at the start of the game, you're given this little phone, and in it has all of these achievements you can unlock. And so if I don't know what to do in the game, I can just open up the Nook Miles and say, oh, I have caught 38 fish so far. If I get up to 50, then I get 1,000 points. And you can use those points to travel to mystery islands, get new clothes. It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Cool. I'm very interested in that, and we have to do a whole episode on just Animal Crossing.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so what are you playing, Seth?
So I've been playing Just Dance 2020. Nope, that's not what I wrote down.
I was going to say.
Nope. Okay. Give me that one again.
Did you really get Just Dance 2020?
I do. I could talk for hours about Just Dance 2020, but I didn't mean to.
Then pick that one. You can change.
Yeah. I will go with Just Dance 2020. That's what I said.
Okay, Seth. So, Seth.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing Just Dance 2020, Joe. So, with this whole quarantine business, it's been kind of hard to stay active or
definitely.
I've been trying to go running sometimes as the weather's getting warmer, and that's great, but trying to stay moving and do workouts is especially really tough when you can't go anywhere.
Yep.
But Just Dance 2020 will kick your ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's got this cool cardio workout mode where it'll track your calories as much as it can with the motion controls of the Switch controller. I have it on the Switch.
Nice.
And it's amazing. Actually, it's also the game for it's you can pay like $10 for 3 months or $25 for like a whole year pass.
Wow.
Like you have to get the game first, but then like in the game you can get this pass.
That's a little
in-game
icky,
transaction.
but yeah.
It is, but it unlocks every song from every Just Dance.
Oh, okay.
Or like something close to it. It's
Sure.
like it's got a catalog of like 580 songs right now, and they're constantly putting out new songs.
Okay.
And so it has like recent pop hits. Go ahead.
Did you find Final Countdown yet?
I did. It's on there.
Okay, good,
It is,
good.
It is absolutely on there. Yeah.
That's
no,
one,
like
that's one that the two of us played a lot when back in
Yeah.
the day. We would do that together.
on the Wii.
On the
Yeah.
Wii, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like all your favorites are on there. Like I did, yesterday I was doing like the Rasputin dance. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Absolutely.
It brings back a ton of memories for me too. I've been really enjoying playing Just Dance 2020. Not what I meant to talk about, but I love it so much. It worked its way into this episode. So
I love it.
There we go. Are we ready to talk about our main topics of this episode?
I think so. Do we need to make some money first, or do we just want to go into the subject?
Oh. Should we make some money?
I don't know. Do you want to make some money?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money!
Let's make some money. All right, Joe. Tell me all about our sponsor this week.
So second verse, same as the first. We just got an email from them, just double checking.
Great. Okay.
That we
perfect.
can't talk about who they are. But hey Seth.
Yeah.
Are you feeling lonely? Lonely as a fanboy?
Yeah, I am feeling lonely as a fanboy.
Would you like some new friends?
I would love some new friends.
Would you like to join a great organization of people who talk secretly with one another?
Like a text chat?
Kind
Like
of.
Like a Discord server?
Kind of.
We're being sponsored by a Discord server?
No. This group
Oh.
just kind of works from a distance, and they, you don't know if you're with them, but you'll know when you're with them.
Do they? Why do they want to be my friend?
Because we're all friends with them, Seth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some of the top celebrities are friends with these people.
Allegedly.
I'm not gonna say Beyonce's not one of their friends, but
Beyonce could be everyone's friend. Joseph.
Beyonce.
Careful. Please.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'm not gonna be murdered after this podcast, but we want to give it a special. Nope, I lost it. My brain has been reset by the organization. I don't know who I am. Hi.
And that's the ad for this week. Let's kick it back to the episode.
Should we try something else? Alright, and we're back. So Seth, I just want to start by making a public apology for last week. No, I don't think all metal music is the same.
I wish I could tell you we'd gotten massive amounts of hate mail about it.
The Twitter threads about this, is that the right term? Threads?
Yeah.
The Twitter threads about all of this have been very divisive, and I don't want to do that to our community. We want to build up, not break down. So to make it up to you, I'm going to let you talk just a full episode about metal music and nothing else.
Thanks, Joe.
Specifically,
I don't want to do that.
What?
No.
What?
We're not talking about metal music this week.
But okay. Then what did you want to talk about? Something else?
Joe, I sent you
We can talk
a
about
whole
sports more if you
playlist.
want.
Joe, we spent all of yesterday talking about what today's episode was going to be about. What's happened to you?
Do we have to?
Did our sponsor get to your brain?
Do we have to do this?
Yes, we do. Listen to me, Joseph. From the time we've known each other, I have, in our respective cars, when given an auxiliary cable, I have been known to bump the Skrillex. I have been known to blast the Calvin Harris.
All right,
the Alesso.
Well,
the EDM of the world,
yes,
if you will.
Why don't you tell us all about electronic dance music?
Well, electronic dance music is deeply misrepresented in American culture, I feel like. EDM is truly anything that just, like, has a synthesizer and a beat. Like, at its base, it's pop, all of pop music now is technically electronic dance music. Like, it's got a danceable beat and, like, electronic chords and, you know, like, modulated vocals most of the time. It's like, it's all stuff we, like, all like. The thing I really want to talk about today is that I'm going to prove to you that EDM is respectable as an artistic genre by looking at some remixes of, like, popular songs that have been done by EDM artists. And I just want to talk about, you know, sort of what makes a good remix, what makes a bad remix. Where should we be using EDM? Where should we not be using these things? Like, does every song need a killer bass drop? I don't know. So, I made you a playlist.
Yep.
Did you listen to it?
I did.
Okay, great. We'll also link the playlist in the description. There's gonna be so many things linked.
Yes.
Everybody can, like, truly just, like, play along at home here.
A big old bin of links.
Yeah. So in that playlist, I picked out four songs, like, reasonably popular songs that have gotten also popular EDM remixes. So I thought we could just go through them first and just, like, talk about them a little bit. Really, what I want to know is what you thought of these songs, as somebody who's maybe biased against EDM in your own way.
Yeah, I was being tongue-in-cheek. I do enjoy the occasional dance music song. I mean, if I said I didn't like electronic music, I would have to turn away from my favorite album of all time, Random Access Memories, which I think is the best album ever made. Fight me.
Daft Punk is amazing.
Absolutely.
We'll link Daft Punk in the description, too.
All the links. Screw it.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Were you done?
Nope, that's it.
Great. Okay, so this first one. The first song I picked out is by Coldplay.
Yes.
A Sky Full of Stars.
Yes.
Big pop hit, you know, a couple years ago. Not like the primary single off one of their albums, but, like, if you like Coldplay, you've heard this song.
Yeah, absolutely.
I promise.
I grew up with Coldplay. My mom played it all the time in the house. I always loved them. And with that newest album, or I don't know if they've made it one since, but with that album, it kind of turned me off a little bit just because the difference in sound between that and Viva La Vida. But I still appreciate that song, and if it's on the radio, I'll listen to it. For this first one, so are we just going to talk about the individual songs?
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about the compare and contrast between that and the
yeah,
version?
right. So then the remix of this song, which is, like, all of these remixes, the other thing about them is that they're official remixes of the song. It's, you know, like, the artist, like, signed off on each of these remixes.
Yeah.
So this remix is done by a DJ whose name is Hardwell.
Okay.
Who's a pretty popular DJ, also, like, really well known for remixing songs.
Gotcha.
Like, that's kind of his, like, one of his niches.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this one kind of confused me, just because
Yeah.
the bass song, the vanilla song, is already electronic.
Yep.
So I can appreciate when electronic music kind of transforms a song into something else. But this didn't really feel transformative. It just kind of felt like it changed it to more bass, almost. I don't know.
Yes, I would strongly agree. I put this one on here because it's an example of a song that I think is a bad remix, or not bad, just, like, it was unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree.
The song doesn't change a lot, except that the remix version is, like, a minute and a half longer than the original version. And sort of like about 3.5 minutes in, Hardwell throws in like, so at one point in the song, like the lead singer of Coldplay said, like he does this like sort of like yeah thing, sort of like, but it's like very quiet and like under the music.
Sure.
And Hardwell takes that, I don't know if you noticed that, brings it up and makes it like the peak of the bass drop.
Oh,
and
sure.
so like in the middle of this like sort of like, you know, like melodic electronic song, then like all of a sudden it like ramps up and you hear the Coldplay singer going like yeah, and then the bass drops, and it's like, I don't know I don't know if that really fits the tone of the song here, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that one is, you know, I think this will be a theme, but like what you said about like a remix should, I think, like transform the song. It should be like a new listening experience, or it should at least like enhance the idea of the original song. And I feel like this one does neither. Listeners at home, you should listen to it yourself, and let us know what you think. The Lonely Fanboys at gmail.com.
Yeah.
That we have an official email now.
Or
let us
comment
know.
in the description.
Or yeah,
comment below. Yeah.
Yeah, just comment on our YouTube channel. That works too.
Yeah.
So this second one is by Mr. Probes. I've never known how to say that name.
All right.
But it's the song Waves.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was interesting because I actually have a little bit of a story about this one. It says on that version, it's the radio edit. That's the only version I'd heard for a while when the song came out. And I thought it was fun, but I didn't really, I could bop to it and have a good time with it. But
You're talking about the Robin Schultz version?
The Robin Schultz version.
Yeah.
I appreciated it, but then one day I was trying on some clothes at Old Navy, and they put on the radio the original version, the Mr. Probs version, and I heard the song in a way that I hadn't before, obviously, but I really liked it. I loved that slow, like methodical. It felt like a wave, and I kind of got it. And the Robin Schultz is more like a tempest than a wave. It's kind of more chaotic.
That's a good metaphor.
Yeah. And so with the original, I got the intention of the song, where I don't think the radio edit really conveyed that.
Yeah, I would say to me the like this is where like the song was like the remix was very transformative. Like you said, almost to the place where it like it's a different thing now.
Absolutely.
And it's you have not preserved the original meaning of the song. I think the radio edit is still like very beautiful, but it like when you listen to the two, like the first one is like very like sad and melancholy.
Yep.
The radio edit is more like, this happened a long time ago, let's dance to forget about it, maybe like a little. It's like it's like, this is a totally different story that we're telling. Which is cool that just like, keeping the same lyrics and like mostly the same notes and like chord progressions, you can like change a song around so much that it like means something else. But it's I feel like it's a place where like you've gone a little too far.
Definitely.
But also interesting that the remix is the one that got popular, because I had the same experience as you, where I heard the remix first,
and then you heard
and
the original,
then went back and heard
Navy?
the original. Well, you were changing clothes.
What?
I was there the whole time.
You were the clothes?
I was the clothes.
Ah!
I was the genie.
Oh my gosh.
That was on there as an example of like, that's maybe a little far.
Yeah.
So the third one is the original song is by Flight Facilities.
Yep.
And a vocalist, I believe, named Giselle. And then the remix is by a group called Adventure Club, who's also well known for remixing songs. They've been Grammy nominated. All of these remix artists, I believe, have been nominated for Grammys.
Yeah.
What did you think about Crave You?
This one was really fun for me. I hadn't heard either versions before. This first time listening, and I liked them both equally. I thought both of them did things that I really enjoyed. What did you think about them?
So I've known about the remix for a very long time. Only recently did I go back and listen to the original, and I feel the same way, that I like them both. I want to know what you like about both of them.
So what I really liked about the original is it kind of felt like what's a good like Fiona Apple
Yeah.
meets Fiona Apple meets like what's that group? Lone Digger.
Caravan Palace.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Fiona Apple meets Caravan Palace, and that's really fun. That's an EDM group I really love. Is that EDM?
They are definitely electronic music.
Yes.
I would say yes.
Okay.
They're technically electro swing.
Okay.
So whatever that means.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm very unknowledge of the genres in EDM. Like if you played Skrillex next to Lone Digger, I know that they're different songs, but I would say this is all just in one bubble.
Right, and I don't think there's a problem with that.
Yeah. And so then the other one, it feels more like Fiona Apple meets Skrillex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess
totally.
Yeah. It's more aggressive, but you have the fun, like siren-esque vocals of the woman's voice mixed with this very aggressive wub 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 music, which I like. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I feel like the thing that I really love about what happened with this remix is like it felt like the remix group like really paid attention to what the original song was about, which is like this idea of you want somebody so bad but they don't want you back. It's this like very like lonely, wistful, almost horny like sort of feeling.
Yeah.
This like very like Hozier vibe.
Sure.
Of just like this like unrequited love. And I think the perfect example of that is that both of these songs really love the line dripping in gold. She sings that a couple times, but in the like original version where they're not using like a lot of like vocal effects, the way that they accomplish like emphasizing dripping in gold is that she just sings it twice. In the remix version, they can do this like cool like distorted echo effect on it, which still emphasizes it in the same way, still gives you that same feeling of like wistfulness and longing, but it's, a different style. Yeah. And so like, the remix is for like, if you're feeling wistful and lonely in the club, and then the original is for like, if you're feeling wistful and lonely, like in your bed, so it allows you to like experience the song in like, like a variety of settings, but while still preserving what like the actual idea and like artistic intent of the song is.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I really like about Crave You.
Yeah.
Okay, then the last one is Lana Del Rey is the original artist, remixed by Cedric Gervais.
Okay.
The song is Summertime Sadness, and this was a huge hit a couple years ago. I know we have a story around this song too. I don't know if you want to tell that story.
Sure, yeah. So, senior year of Spanish class, we were assigned to make a music...
Senior year of high school.
Senior year of high school, yes.
To clarify.
Thank you. We were assigned a video project where we had to make a music video. We had to translate all the lyrics to Spanish and then make the video. And we had a lot of fun with this video because we chose Summertime Sadness and we just tried to make something as edgy as possible. And that was really fun. Link in the description.
Link in the description.
Absolutely. Yes.
Features the wonderful vocal talents of Wendy Huang.
Yes, and
our dear friend.
And both of us are in the video as babyface as possible.
Yes.
And it's great.
It's good. It's good watching. I'm still very proud of that video.
Me too. It was a really fun one. I mean,
for seniors in high school, in a Spanish class.
Yeah, not to get on a tangent, but it was a big realization for me that I have more fun creating when I just turn off and go rather than just like overthinking every aspect of it. That was super fun. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about the song. What did you think about the song?
Oh yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, so again, the remix was the one I heard first. And in fact, when we were working on that project, I had a hard time finding the song because I only knew it as that one. And so I kept finding the original and being like, this doesn't sound right. And I didn't quite get why that was at the time. I want to like Lana Del Rey. I really want to. I love Billie Eilish, and I think their sounds kind of cross paths a little bit. and so I
Totally.
feel like I should like Lana Del Rey. But there's something about it that just never quite jives with me. I don't know what it is yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
So I actually heard the original version first, and then the remix got really popular on the radio. This song, the remix of this song, won a Grammy. That's how big it got. It's the only song on this list that actually won a Grammy, I believe. And so that was everywhere. And for a while, I hated it. I despised this remix because I had heard the original, and I was like, what are you doing to this song? You're speeding it up. This song is called Summertime Sadness. Why do I want to dance to it in a club? I truly don't understand why of all the Lana Del Rey songs you would remix this one.
Right.
Because she has a lot songs that are a lot more danceable than this.
They even made a joke about that in the famous video Selfies.
Yeah, exactly. By the Chainsmokers.
Yes.
It's also, side tangent, don't the Chainsmokers just want to be Coldplay?
A little
doesn't
bit.
Doesn't it seem that way?
Yeah, a little bit. I know exactly what you mean.
The Chainsmokers are the A Sky Full of Stars remix.
Yep.
That's who they are. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
Bring
just
it back. Bring it back. Wrangle.
But after a while, this song grew on me. I think also I just have some good memories associated with it. It was obviously our senior year of high school, and so we were out hanging out with people, and the song would play at bonfires or board game nights or just wherever people were playing music, and so I have good memories. And then I was like, oh, maybe that's what it's about. It's you can have the summertime sadness, and you can still go out and do things, and maybe you should actually be doing that. If you're feeling sad, go get out there, party. Improve your mood. Don't sit there and sulk. And I was have gotten really philosophical about this song.
Okay. I mean, if you really want to go deep, I feel like the original almost invokes this idea of kind of like you said, being in the summer when you should feel happy and not for some reason. But I almost feel like the remix is almost you're in the winter and you're reflecting on that summer and those memories that you love. And,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And so it's it's great to being years on from graduating high school. Now I'm looking back at those memories and this song and being yes. That was a good time.
Yeah,
even though now I have the summertime sadness. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So with all that, what do you think makes a good remix?
Ooh. I mean, I definitely think, like I said originally, it has to transform the piece. I don't want to listen to the same song that's just got now a bass track. I want it to invoke new emotions, maybe let me discover something about the song that I didn't in the original. And I think what you're kind of getting at is EDM is a great place for that.
Yeah. Totally. EDM allows you to change the tempo, change the the modulation, add all these crazy effects to a song, which when used right, I think can be really effective. So,
Absolutely.
Final question. Is remixing an art form?
Ooh, yes, 100%. Yes.
Even though these DJs are not necessarily writing the songs, and they're not singing the songs, they're not doing the performing, it is still art.
Yes.
That can still be art in itself.
Yes, I think once you take a piece and you completely transform it to make it your own, that it's transformative and therefore it is yours. I gotta think. I can't think of the name right now. I'll try to put a link in the description if I find it. But there's this really famous work, a short film that someone made where they took a piece from To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's just a scene where Scout runs into the house, and he almost made if you want to think about it, a remix of that scene where he cut it up, he put it in different spaces, he repeated shots multiple times, and he transformed it and made it this new piece of art. And it's new art. It's its own thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
So all you EDM haters out there, listen to that.
Fight us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Email us at thelonelyfanboys@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So, Joe, if you're ready now, I am finished.
Okay,
I have rested my case. I have proven to you
You've
that
converted
electronic
me.
music has a place in our culture.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I'm now going to go listen to all of the electronics. I'm
So
going to turn on my microphone, I'm going to turn on my microwave and just listen to it play for hours.
now,
And
see,
I'm
now
love it.
Now I want to fight you. But we don't have time for that. This podcast is supposed to be an hour.
Yeah.
So you gave me an assignment this week,
Yes.
as well, which
Yeah.
was to watch the first episode of Steven Universe.
Yep.
And then mostly spoiler-free selected episode of Steven Universe Future.
Yeah.
Which is, both of those are shows I have never watched that you've been telling me to watch for a very long time
For
and that you
years.
love very deeply.
Yes. Yeah, so Steven Universe is a cartoon that's very near and dear to me. I started watching it my sophomore year of college. I was in my dorm, I had my laptop open, I watched the first episode on Hulu, and then I binged the heck out of it. And I have been an avid fan and follower since then. I follow YouTubers who talk about theories about the show. I follow the creator, Rebecca Sugar, very aggressively, and I think it's the one of the most perfect cartoons.
Online and not in person.
Yes. Yes, online.
Sorry.
So I just want to go into why this show is so great and kind of defend my favorite little show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe, what makes this show so great?
Yeah, so I want to start by kind of talking about the history of cartoons in general. Not, all the way, but I just want to start with a little show called Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Now, Adventure Time started during what some people call like a dark age of Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
There was this period where after Powerpuff Girls, Dexter, Johnny Bravo, that series of shows ended. A new CEO was brought in. I can't remember her name, and she was like, "Hey, let's make live action shows. Let's make these really obnoxious SpongeBob-like shows that weren't very good. They were just obnoxious for the sake of being obnoxious and didn't really have a point." And so
was that when wasn't there Annoying Orange on Cartoon Network or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, we had Annoying Orange the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's definitely a place for those cartoons, and there are things that you can appreciate from them. But it's not something I can sit down and actively seek out watching.
Right.
And so then we got this show called Adventure Time, and it started as just this episodic show. Each episode was individual, a different story about these characters, Finn and Jake, in this magical world, going on these fantastic adventures. And it was really, really great. But slowly, this show started to develop a plot. And it started to tell this greater story about the world. And you started to appreciate these characters in a new way. And the show was a massive success. I mean, I don't know about you, but Adventure Time was everywhere for a while.
And it still kind of is.
Yes.
It's very pervasive.
Yes, I mean, even now, I know that HBO is working on a spin-off series, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And so because it was so popular, it kind of ushered in this new era of these kinds of shows, these shows that had these delightful characters, and then they slowly started integrating a plot, and then they were these massive dramas that were great. So we've got Gravity Falls. One that I haven't seen, but a lot of people talk about is Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I've heard that one's really good. And even adult cartoons like Rick and Morty, some of the most famous episodes of that are these connected plot stories that are really epic. And then because of that popularity, it also brought in these cartoon mini-series that were just 10 or 11 episodes that just told a succinct story. And it dealt with, a lot of times it dealt with complex topics. Over the Garden Wall is a super famous one. If you haven't seen it, absolutely watch it because it's brilliant. And I didn't even know this until recently, but it's actually, the creator has confirmed that it's actually a retelling of Dante's Inferno. which is
Oh,
crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and if you watch the show, watching the show with that lens, you can definitely see it, but it's definitely its own piece. It's transformative, if you will. But yeah, and then there's shows like Infinity Train, which it's a new show. It's on Cartoon Network. Also, I highly recommend. And each season, they're on 2 seasons now, so it's not really a mini series, but it started as a mini series, so I'm going to include it in this. And it was just about a girl trying to escape her world after she finds out that her parents are getting a divorce. And she runs away into this magical world, and she kind of has this coming of age story, and subtly dealing with different topics related to that. And it's really deep and emotional and story driven. So now we get to Steven Universe. So Steven Universe was created by Rebecca Sugar. She started on Adventure Time. She wrote a lot of the famous songs for the show. Most of Marceline's songs were written by Rebecca Sugar, and you can actually find her performing them. They're really beautiful. And so she wanted to tell the story about Steven, this little kid who is just he starts off almost as a nobody. He's clumsy, he's a klutz, he makes mistakes, but he has these 3 parental figures called the Crystal Gems. They're these alien rock people. Describing it is very weird, but when you look at it, it all makes sense. And so when the show starts off, the first season is just them going on, again, these episodic little adventures. And it seems like it's building this formula that the show is going to keep doing throughout the whole series. Steven finds a new monster. He and the gems have to go fight it. The day is saved. Or Steven is exploring Beach City. He meets a new member of the town, and they do a little adventure together. Every episode was that, and it felt formulaic. It felt like that's how this show is going to be. Okay, cool. But then we start getting close to the end of the season, and they decide to add a plot.
As you do.
I'm gonna avoid spoilers. I'm trying to be more broad because I know that you want to get into the show.
Yes.
And maybe if we want, we can start incorporating little segments on Steven as you continue watching. But they implement this plot, and as soon as they do, you have this suddenly realization that these weren't episodic just for the sake of having them. It was to slowly introduce you to the characters of the island, the rules of the world, the lore, and you start building these relationships. So as soon as the plot gets going, you care.
Right.
And it's brilliant. It's totally brilliant. You care about the big things, Steven trying to take on the end of the world, and these little things like Steven not being able to get a pizza. I mean, but seriously, like they make you care about these relationships, these characters, and it's just genius. And what the show also starts to do, and I'd love to talk with you about this another day, is they start to take on really complex topics and really mature themes in very subtle and amazing ways. They talk about consensual sex. They talk about sexual identity. They talk about gender identity. And they do it. Sometimes it's in very subtle ways. Sometimes it's not so subtle. It's the kind of thing that you or I as adults can look at them and say, oh, that's what they're doing. But It's not in a way that I think someone might get mad about, because it's not shoving it in someone's face. It's not being aggressive about it. It's just great. So I want to know, what did you think about the very first episode?
Okay, yeah, I'll start there. So going into the show, I'd heard, like a lot about it, and I'd also, I'd seen a bunch of like posts and stuff from like fans of the community that made it seem like this show has like so much lore, and there's just like so many things you have to know about all these characters, and that was something that was like a little intimidating to me. Was like, I was like, I don't want to pick up another show where I have to remember who so and so's like grandfather-in-law is or whatever. And I was like, I'll just keep watching like fluffy rom-com TV shows or whatever. But it's truly like, like how you boil a frog, you like slowly like turn the heat up, and then it won't jump out. That's totally what it felt like. Like I was dropped into this world with like Steven and the crystal gems, and the show is just like, yes, these are the crystal gems. That's all you need to know right now.
Yep.
Just know that they're the crystal gems,
Yep.
and here are their names.
Yep.
Focus on that right now. Just like learn that this is Pearl and Garnet.
One more.
And Amethyst?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
Good job.
see? Okay.
Yep.
So the show did a good job, right?
Yep.
Where like after I did watch the first 2 episodes because
okay.
I got a little hooked.
That's
But
okay.
after
Good.
watching two episodes, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's that and that's that and that's that." And they are these colors, and they also, every character in the show has a very distinct personality.
Yep.
Which helps a ton. But it's not a stereotypical personality.
Right.
It's just like very well fleshed out. So like right from the beginning, you can sort of be like, "Oh, Pearl would react this way to this thing," and then like a thing happens and like Pearl reacts a certain way to it, and you're like, that makes sense.
Yep.
No, Pearl.
And that brings up another great thing is that if you go through the show, you don't notice it, kind of like the boiling, but these characters do age and they do develop, and so that's why I kind of wanted you to watch one of the newer episodes where you see that these characters have completely evolved from the very first episode. And one more thing, sorry. What's also really cool about that is Rebecca Sugar has talked about in interviews that while working on the script, she also got to know the actors more and more. And so she started to realize, I need to incorporate their own characteristics into these characters. So really you are like seeing these characters evolve both as characters in the story and as a creator realizing how to like engage her actors, which is so cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that was one of the things that I noticed watching the episode, that I don't even know how many seasons ahead that episode is.
Yeah, so to date, there are 5 seasons, plus Steven Universe Future, plus the movie.
Okay, so I skipped forward like
6 seasons.
6 seasons? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cool. So skipping forward 6 seasons, like I was still seeing characters that I recognize and that I knew, but also they had absolutely changed.
Yep.
Like it's not like a Friends thing where I feel like with the show Friends, you can pick an episode anywhere in the catalog and you know exactly what's going to happen, because again, these characters fall into but they're falling into stereotypes, like hard and fast stereotypes. Those characters don't change. Mm-hmm. You always know exactly what Joey's going to do in every situation. And that's comforting in a TV show too. It's just this Steven Universe is a different thing where I was not surprised by how Pearl had grown and changed, but it was different. And I was able to say like, that's an older, more mature, like more self-actualized person or gem. I don't know.
Gem,
it's weird.
Yes.
Character, a character who's actually like learned something about themselves and has gone through like the process of change. And that was really cool, especially because I don't know where the change happened or what sort of inciting incidents caused the change, but I can still look at the episode and say there's a change there. Mm-hmm.
Were you able to appreciate this new episode individually, even though you didn't have the context of the whole series?
I think so, for the most part. I mean, the episode is what was it? Bismuth
Casual was the episode.
Bismuth Casual, yeah. And so like I didn't know who Bismuth was,
right?
But that was okay. And then like they're at like a skate rink, mm-hmm. So it was like a very like, it felt like sort of disconnected from the main plot. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah. I'll find out in 6 seasons. But in this like very isolated space, I was like able to watch it as as an episode. Like I said, it's still like I could recognize all of these characters and also recognize that they had gone through changes. And Steven, especially, the thing that I liked the most about Steven's character development, as much as I've seen of it, was that in the first season, he's a little kid, mm-hmm. obviously. But his wants and needs are like very binary. Yeah. Like he's like I want this, and either he gets it or he doesn't, yeah. And that determines his reaction. In Steven Universe Future, it's like very nebulous. Everything's like very like almost or like bit too much, or like,
Yeah.
it's like on these like scales, which feels so much like being a teenager or a young adult, where just like nothing is binary anymore. Like everything is like on sort of a scale, and you're like, ooh, where do I want to be at? Where's the perfect place? How do I do this thing exactly right?
Yeah.
And if you don't do it right, then like you're wrong and you feel so bad. And he's so anxious and nervous. But I feel like that, he's also able to understand like a greater level of complexity about the world in general, and that's so cool to like be able to see a character go through that growth, especially like a character that you relate to. So like as you're growing, your character is growing with you.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I think that's something that's really great about this show is I'm engaging with it at the perfect time, because the original series feels like I'm reflecting on a childhood, and I'm looking at, I mean, there's superheroes, there's chaos, there's all this stuff, but the moral problems and the coming of age element of it is very reflective, and I can think about when I was a kid. Steven Universe Future is where I'm at right now. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not. But this show came out at the perfect time for me, and I think that's why it resonates so strongly with me, just because I can relate to this character so strongly, and all of the characters in the show, not just Steven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I love that.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say about it that I noticed that I'd heard some people talking about online, but that I noticed for myself too, is that the show does a really good job with representation, just in general. Not that every show should strive to have one of each type of person, but this show has like very genuine human beings who are also incredibly diverse.
Yeah. And I don't think it shoves it in your face or is aggressive
not at
about
all.
it. I mean, Anne and I were watching that episode, and I just remarked that there was a Muslim character in a hijab.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I had personally seen that in a cartoon before. And it wasn't like, hi, I'm the Muslim character. Let me tell you about Islam. It was just like, it just happened, and it was great. Yeah. They didn't... Yeah.
And the show uses they them pronouns like so fluidly. It's actually like part of the lore, like that you have to do that.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And this isn't a spoiler, but they never do an episode on pronouns. It's not like Steven's like, oh, okay, what do I call you now? Or there's no one has to say, can you please call me this? They just automatically start saying, oh, they like this, and that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
And I think that's perfect for cartoons.
Yep.
That's a perfect place to like sort of envision this world that we should be living in. Like this in our perfect scenario. Yeah, it's actually it can be like that.
Yeah.
And like life will actually be okay.
Yeah, we don't need an episode where Steven learns what being gay is. He just has two characters that are like, we like each other, and he's like, that's great. I like you too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He thinks in the first episode, this is not a spoiler, in the first episode, Steven thinks that he gets his powers from eating ice cream, and that was the moment where I was like, I will love this character until the day I die.
Yep.
And then it's like through, so then like from that moment you're like, you love this character so much, you're seeing the world through his lens.
Yeah.
And that's where like you do want to show like a diverse world.
Yeah.
And you can get your audience to come right along with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so many more little things I want to discuss with you, and so maybe you'll watch the whole show and then we can come back and talk about it in a more spoiler-filled episode, or bit by bit. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, thank you for listening to my little spiel on my favorite cartoon of all time.
Thank you for listening to my spiel on one of my favorite music genres.
Oh man, I love this so much. All right, well, are you good to go?
I'm good to go. Remember that you can email us at thelonelyfanboys@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell. Am I forgetting anything else? Oh, don't forget to support our sponsor today, or they'll get you.
They'll. I'm a little worried if there will be another episode. We'll see. But if not,
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers.
If there's no new episode, stop it right now. If there's no new episode, it's been great knowing you. If there will be another one, tune in for the next episode of the Lonely Fanboys. Bye.